Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is going to be my first tutorial video. As you can see, I'm in the shadows here, so I'm just looking at the Quake just now. The standard shock oil that we're getting in Quakes does seem a little bit soft. So after doing a little bit of chatting with folks online, I'm going to do a tutorial on how to clean out your shocks and pop some thicker shock oil in them. And hopefully we can learn together. So yeah, let's go. What you'll be needing is your tool to open up your shocks. These to remove it, so I'm just going to use a My Little Princess screwdriver and your hex drivers there. And this is what I managed to get. So I've gone for 1000 CST. It does say diff, but you can use those for your shocks as well. So this should hopefully settle up the ride and maybe make it a bit less slappy when I'm doing some jumps, and we'll get a wee look at this down at the skate park. So that's what you're needing. I've got this thing as well. Pop up here. Probably get my shocks in there and just keep them nice and level, because we need to try and keep the air out of the shocks once we get them sealed back up again. So here we go. Step one then is we're going to be taking off 1, 2, 3, 4 screws here, and that'll be 4 up at the back as well. So we'll get those off and we'll do the next video. Viewers, so all screws out, all shock absorbers off. I've laid these out here, and this will just be a little bookmark for if you want to come back to it. These are front top, front bottom, rear top, rear bottom. So if you need to come back to it, that's where those screws go. You're then going to be left with 4 of these. And to remove the spring, very straightforward in case you haven't done it before. Just want to be pulling up your spring here, and you'll see that we've got a little space here, so just push those up like that. I'm making this probably harder than it has to be. Oh, so that comes off there, and that slots out here. Now don't let this go, because that will shoot across the room. Now let that just relax. Boom. And there we go. It leaves you with those 3 parts here, and where we need to get into is going to be in here, which is the reservoir for our shock oil. So I will then move on to the next bit. And this will be supplied in with your Quake, and what we're looking to use is this one here, because obviously that would just be for your bigger bore shocks, and this will be the one that we need to use for that. Go in here, do it like that, and that should settle in like so, so it's flush. And then if we turn that, okay, you'll then see that that starts to loosen up. So this is the first I've ever done one of these, and I'm doing it on camera, so I'll probably turn it this way so I'm not going to get shock oil everywhere. Maybe just make that finger tight actually. It's very difficult to do something like that because there's just a slight delay when I am looking with what I'm doing, and you'll see there that that is loosening off. Poof, there we go. And in there, it doesn't look like there's actually anything in there at all. Okay, okay. Right, so I'll get this cleaned out, and then we'll get some new oil in there, because I think there's absolutely nothing in there. I'm going to tip this. Whoa, okay, maybe there is, but it's very, very runny. So I'm going to go and get that tidied up, and we'll come back to you. Once you've got everything separated, this is what we're going for. And just be popping this in here. Now, ideally, obviously, you don't want any air in here. Well, just want to try and make sure we get this at the right depth. Because what you may find is that you probably end, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but we don't want too much in there
because if we do, it's just going to spurt out everywhere anyway. So even just underneath that thread line, if you're able to do that when you see it at home, put that in there, and sorted. Once that's done, make sure you have your plunger like so, and then we're just going to be sliding that in there, a bit of resistance, which is good, and then we'll just make sure it's finger tight. Now what we need to make sure is with this red bung here, oh, there we go, that's it starting to come out, so that's pretty good. We know that that is going to be full, so finger tighten that just now, give this a wipe, tighten up a little bit more, so it looks like quite an even red line right here. So we'll get our tool, we'll tighten that up, and it may potentially push out some more oil, but you want to keep that tight so that the gasket is hidden, so it's not going to be chucking out any more sort of shock oil, and that feels pretty nice. So we just need to be doing that another 3 times. Once you've got them all finger tight, get the little tool on there as well, and as you can see, try not to have any of that gasket showing, because I believe that if you get a little bit of gasket showing, you're going to get a little bit of leakage. So make sure everything's cleaned up, and it's just a case of getting that spring back on and getting the shock collar on at the bottom. So pop that on there. Right, bringing that up now, finger's going to be all getting shock oily. And what we're looking for is that little peg part here, and we just want to make sure that that's going to slide down and it's going to house up properly. Come on. Right. Once that's on there, that should then sit nicely, and there is one shock that's had its oil changed. So we'll chuck those back on the Quake, and I'll start dropping it in front of the camera to see what we're getting shock wise. And there we go. Didn't really hear any chassis slap there. So let's get it down to the skate park. We're going to give a wee race off with Max and his Quake, and we'll just see what the difference is in sort of handling and what it's going to be like when we're taking off jumps. So let's go. So we're at the skate park. I've got my Quake set up with the different, basically the thicker shock oil. Max's Quake here, just on the standards. And what we're going to be doing, we're going to have a race, mate. And what can you tell us the direction of the course, please?
What we're basically doing, see that blue bin over there? That's where we're starting. We're coming down this ramp here. We're passing up the left ramp part. We're going down the little step part, and we're coming around there, jumping down from them stairs, coming all the way.
I'll tell you what we'll do. You go and run the course for us.
Right.
I'm making him run this for no reason.
Up here, you run back down there. First car back to the bin as the winner. 3, 2, 1, go!
So had a wee race there, and definitely bouncier, and certainly doesn't give you the same kind of chassis slap as what we were getting before. And we're both just running these on 50 just now, so whoop, you know, maybe give me personal preference, but certainly it makes that little bouncer anyway, that's for sure. Okay, so we'll go for a backflip test. Again, I have got the thicker shock oil in there, and Max has got the standard one in his Quake, the purple one. So let's give it a wee blast, mate, and we'll see. Get your wee backflip on and we'll see what it's like. Go! Boom! Simple as that. So we've got here, and I'll hopefully not hit Max's.
Would you like me to move mine?
That's cool. Here. Boom. I think we get way less chassis slap on that. And I was kind of worried that we get a little bit of bounce and stuff. But just seems to take that really, really well. Definitely a little bit of a stiffer setup. Almost like if you're going to get stiffer springs for it. But, boom, there we go. And, whoa. I just popped a little backflip for you there. Oh no. And I do believe I have just moved my motor. Great. And in classic Arrma fashion, my servo's packed in as well. Wonderful stuff. And we're back. Lead had come loose here. For some reason I thought it would probably just kill the motor, but I was getting some form of connection. Plugged it back in, and so just running that on 50, don't want to go too crazy with it. You saw that the steering servo was starting to wig out, so I have just replaced that with another servo. I don't have the steering rate very high on that one, but oh, that's okay. Right. And yeah, the fan was unplugged anyway. So that is pretty much it for my first tutorial where I've changed the shock oil. Should I want to go back to that nice sort of soft spongy chassis slappy kind of Quake that I had before, I think this should do the trick here. Just got some 40 weight shock fluid. But yeah, there we have it for my first tutorial. If you like it, leave a comment. If you don't agree with anything that I've done in this video, or you think I've done something wrong, yeah, leave a comment as well. Hit that like button, and I'd appreciate if you'd hit the subscribe button as well. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye bye.